Welcome boys and girls to Auntie Nikki's 12 Days of Christmas Stories. Today's story, an extraordinary Christmas. Everyone said Alicia was special because she was born on Christmas Day. Yes, December 25th. She would be 11 soon and secretly wished for a day, a celebration of her very own. One she would always remember. How about an early birthday present? Her mother stopped her on her way in from the last day of school. Her mother started to wave a plane ticket. Auntie Patty, Uncle John have invited you to spend your birthday and of course Christmas Day with them in Toronto. Sorry we can't go because Daddy and I have to work, but we promise you, you will have the best Christmas ever. And it will be your first white Christmas. Alicia clutched the ticket and skipped her room. She was so excited, but she only wished she could get something extraordinary. And she only wished her mom and dad and of course her dog Ziggy could be there. She started to think, what kind of Christmas is that? No sorrel, no ginger beer, no pastels. A week later, Alicia's parents drove her to Piaco for a night flight to Toronto. She wore a tag marked unaccompanied minor around her neck for everyone to see. This meant that she was traveling alone. Alicia forced a quick smile as she waved to her parents and said goodbye. And then she reluctantly followed the flight attendant to the largest plane she had ever seen. The plane taxied down the runway and she was off to Toronto. Alicia's tummy filled with butterflies as it lifted off the ground. Outside her window, lights flashed past that grew smaller and smaller as she said goodbye to her sweet Trinidad. After dinner, a flight attendant invited Alicia to visit the pilots. She wobbled nervously down the aisle and entered the dark cockpit. Captain, you have a visitor, the flight attendant said. Alicia mumbled a quiet hello. She noticed all the bright lights reflected off the pilots' faces. Mr. Pilot, how you can see where you're going? Everything's so dark. The captain touched a square screen and said, this is our map. And you see, we've just crossed into the United States. And don't worry, young lady, we will take care of you and touch down safely. Alicia didn't remember falling asleep, but when she woke up, the sun was peeping over the horizon. Outside her window, she saw an unfamiliar world. She could see highways and buildings covered in snow. Finally, the plane landed and she was taken outside to meet Auntie Patty. Welcome to Toronto! As she quickly bundled Alicia into a coat and slipped on mitts on her hands. Uncle John stood by with hat, boots and a scarf and a friendly hug. Alicia began to warm up inside and out, but she thought of her mom and dad and Ziggy, and she finally said, I don't know if I could enjoy Christmas here as much as I can in Trinidad. Auntie Patty said, well, let's wait and see. You may be just surprised. Later that day, Alicia chose the perfect Christmas tree and Uncle John chopped it down. The whole house smelled of pine. It smelled so Christmassy. And she loved playing in the snow. Her warm breath left her mouth forming little puffs of steam, just like from a train. The sound of her boots crunching in the crisp snow made her think of her good old Trini Crips. She helped decorate the tree with shiny ornaments and musical lights that played Christmas carols. Alicia had never seen anything like that, and she just stared at it in amazement. "Here, try this," said Auntie Patty. "It's not sorrel, but just as delicious," as she gave her a warm mug. Alicia watched the tiny marshmallows bob around the hot chocolate. She took a sip. It was sweet and warm. She took a gulp and slurped and licked all the marshmallow off her creamy mustache. Soon her mug was empty. She wanted another one, but didn't want to betray her love for sorrel and all the things she loved in Trinidad. Well, the days slipped by and Christmas was being celebrated everywhere. Alicia tried not to have too much fun, but there was so much to do. She tasted her first candied apple and she ate her favorite peppermint canes. She went on her very first sleigh ride and she sang Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer to the top of her lungs. She laughed uncontrollably as she wobbled across a frozen pond on ice skates. "Are you having fun, Alicia?" asked Uncle John. "And it's also your birthday tomorrow," Uncle John reminded her. "Yes," she said, "but sadly, I am having the best time ever. But I wish that same time the doorbell rang." And Alicia ran to open it. And as she opened it, there stood her parents saying, "Surprise! Happy birthday! Merry Christmas!" She couldn't believe it. She screamed and she hugged them and she shouted, "This is the best birthday and Christmas gift ever." "Well, I could make it better," said her dad, and he unpacked all the Trini goodies. "Yeah, pasta, fruit cake, sorrel." Well, it was Christmas morning and Alicia's birthday. Oh, snow was falling gently from the skies. It was a beautiful morning. The first present Alicia opened was a bright red sled, which she tried on right away in the backyard. Everyone soon joined her to help her make her first ever snowman, which she named after her dog Ziggy. Yeah, Ziggy the snowman. She flopped her arms up and down to make a snow angel. And after that, they warmed up in front of the fireplace. "Parents sounds good up here too, Daddy," as she sipped her sorrel. Uncle John played his quattro, Mommy shook the shak-shak, and they sang their favorite carols. For lunch, there was a huge turkey, mashed potatoes, vegetable pumpkin pie, and the biggest birthday cake Alicia had ever seen. They sang happy birthday to her, and Uncle John said, "Alicia, you do have the most special birthday of them all," as he pointed to the nativity scene under the tree. Alicia smiled as she looked around and saw what was really important to her. It did not matter if she had pastel or sorrel, or if it was Trinidad or Toronto, birthday or Christmas. She was with the ones she loved. Finally, Alicia had a special birthday celebration, one that was extraordinary. Merry Christmas.